Well, a Hays County deputy is still recovering tonight in the hospital. The sheriff says he's lucky to be alive after a suspect reportedly ambushed officers responding to a call this morning in Wimberley. That suspect was killed by officers. As KXAN's Brittany Glass explains, law enforcement agencies are rallying together to support this department and others to try and make sense of why these tragedies continue to happen across our state.
From what I understand, he had a very long criminal history. There's no telling why this subject did what he did.
Austin Police Association President Ken Cassidy says it's just the most recent incident in what's become a disturbing trend.
There's a war on police officers. It's become very popular to criticize the police and to encourage people to be violent towards the police.
It's been one dangerous day after another for law enforcement officers here in Texas.
So we had the Hays County deputy that was shot. We had the DPS trooper that was killed. Last week we're talking about the Border Patrol agents that were assaulted and murdered down on the border.
Cassidy says we have to move forward, shifting the focus away from the suspects.
Not talking about the person that commits the act. A lot of times people want attention.
Focusing instead on the officers. The APD union says they'll send money to Trooper Damon Allen's family, and they're reaching out to Hays County to see how they can help their brothers in blue there too. From helping plan funerals for the fallen to supporting their children, agencies across the state always seem to step in. Cassidy says that's just what you do for your law enforcement family.
You have to. We're out there, it's the thin blue line. We're the only thing that is between our citizens and mayhem and craziness.
Brittany Glass, KXAN News.
Well, family members of fallen DPS trooper Damon Allen will receive at least $20,000 from the Local 100 Club in Houston. The nonprofit helps financially support the families of officers killed or severely injured in the line of duty. A funeral for Trooper Allen will be held next Friday at the Mexia High School football stadium. A procession for Allen took place today. Dozens of police cars and fire trucks made their way along I-45 to US 84 as they carried his body from Fairfield to Teague. Now, that's where he lived with his wife and his 3 kids. The 41-year-old was a 15-year veteran of DPS. And 32-year-old Debrett Black was arrested after a standoff in Waller County in connection. He's now charged with capital murder. While Allen lived in Teague, he grew up in nearby Mexia, and people there call him a hometown hero. They describe him as down to earth and a role model for the community.
To us, he wasn't just Trooper Allen, but he was Damon Allen. And he was a dad, he was a husband, he was a friend, he was a colleague to people, and he was just an all-around good guy.
Well, today, Governor Abbott ordered flags to be flown at half-staff in Allen's memory. And tomorrow, a funeral will be held for a Border Patrol agent killed on the job. A visitation for Rogelio Martinez was held tonight, 5 days after he was killed near Van Horn. The FBI has kept under wraps exactly how Martinez and his partner were hurt. The Border Patrol's union has called this an ambush. The governor is calling it a murder. Martinez was found in a culvert with head injuries and broken bones. The total reward for an arrest has jumped to $45,000 for anyone who can help find a suspect. Well, Texas leads the way for the number of officers and deputies killed with a dozen this year. But overall, the number of officers killed this year is lower than in 2016. So far this year, 114 law enforcement officers have died. Last year, it was 134. While we wait to hear and learn more about these recent shootings, earlier this year, a KXAN investigation found in about a third of cases where a Texas police officer was shot and killed, the person pulling the trigger had a history of mental illness. At the time, the state only required police officers to undergo 16 hours of mental health training, but in September, a new law went into effect requiring all future law enforcement cadets to have 40 hours of mental health training. You can watch the Fallen series online now at KXAN.com. Just click on the Investigates tab.